G'day viewers and subscribers to the Rugby Site. We've got a number of different partnerships on the Rugby Site, but I'm really excited about this one today with VIO. Tom and the team at VIO have kindly given us this camera to try out and test in a rugby context. It's been used in lots of other sports such as football, basketball and so forth. But today here in Wellington, New Zealand, we've got a rugby tournament. It's a great opportunity to set up the VIO and put it through its paces. So the idea behind this video is not as an advertorial. Our intention is to show you as coaches how you can introduce technology to help you and your team. So the VIO comes in this great little pelican case, watertight and really robust for safe travel. And inside here you can see we've got an instruction manual and a cleaning cloth for the lenses. The camera itself is a lime green, which makes it really easy to see when it's up on its Manfrotto stand. 2 lenses there at the front. Underneath you can see the 2 microphone holes at the front. A snap plate which goes onto the Manfrotto stand. And yeah, it's a really solid unit. On the left hand side there you can see the Ethernet port and the charging ports, and on the other side on the right you've got the on-off buttons which has lights to indicate what mode it's in. What else is in the box? Obviously charger, cables, connectors, different connectors, snap plate for the Manfrotto stand. I've actually got the 7-metre stand, which is a great perspective, and then your Ethernet cable for hooking up to online. The wind brace, so that there is to secure to the big Manfrotto stand so that when it's windy it's not going to tip over. Hey, look at that, that's a great looking bit of kit. I've only been here a short amount of time and already I've had a number of people come up to me and say, what is that? That looks really cool. Where I've explained to them about the software and the technology, how it just marries in seamlessly to get really great game coverage. Already people are getting quite excited and asking where they can get hold of one. So we're going to try it out and see what this baby can do. So that didn't take long to set up, took me about 5 minutes. Up top you'll see there's a ring that 3 carabiners attached to with ropes, which go to the ground, and there's 3 pegs that you put into the ground with an adjustable rope to get the tension on. One little tip, when it comes to setting up the stand in a strong wind, always set it up so that you have one leg facing away from the wind. So in this case the wind's coming from this direction, so we've got one leg facing that way and 2 legs facing into the wind. It just steadies the tripod a lot better, and so that once you've got the ropes in, it's not going to move anywhere and it'll be a much safer setup. Also it has an adjustable leg here, so that if it's on uneven ground you can adjust that so that it will sit nice and vertical once it's set up. So you can see with VIO you've got a lens here and you have a lens here. The idea being the camera will see 180 degrees, which gives you a great view of the game. From a camera positioned at ground level you get to see a lot of ball movement, which is great, but what you don't get to see is perspective when it comes to defensive and attack patterns in rugby, which is very important to be able to analyse. So once you've got your camera set up in its high position, it's just a matter of opening up the app, connecting with your camera and pushing record. And you can see here once the player kicks, how the camera will just pan around by itself. Now this is done in the software, it's not done on the camera. So once the footage is uploaded to this VIO server, the robots do their tricks and they will track the ball. So you can see here quite clearly how the camera will track the play and make sure that they don't miss anything. And it's a really nice perspective from this height, quite clearly seeing the attack shape and the defensive line there. And it's a really great tool for coaches to look at and work out who's in the right shape and who's not. And also for the players to view back and make sure that they can see where they're going wrong. Now the VIO records in 1080, which is full HD. And from this perspective, when you're at the wide end of the lens, it's really good quality and you can see quite clearly the imagery is crisp and clean and clear. So in this situation you'll see there's a big shadow cast across the field and the VIO camera is handling the contrast pretty well. You can see in the background the hills are blowing out, but that's okay because we can see that there's a right exposure for the rugby field itself. Really important to make sure that you set the camera up with the sun behind you so you're not getting that flare as I mentioned earlier, and making sure that the lenses are nice and clean when you set it up. Where the camera will struggle is when there's play on the far side of the field, so that if there's a rut, a line out or a maul that you want to analyse, you're not going to see that detail that you really want to see as a coach. So that's where a ground-based camera will be much more beneficial in that situation. But that said, as much as it's a little bit grainy and fuzzy, what you can see really clearly here is the attack shape setting up and how the defensive shape is reacting to it. So you're getting to see the detail from a coach's perspective that you really want to focus on. All of those details that you want to see from a wider perspective, and VIO delivers that clearly. So VO is not great for seeing play on the far side of the field in detail, but from a team attack shape or defensive shape perspective, it's excellent because VO sees everything. Another interesting thing happened at the weekend as well. After our game, the referees came up and asked if they could get the footage so they could have a look at their performance in refereeing our game. So I simply shared the footage via Messenger to the referee that asked for it, and they were able to review their game. And so it's great that the referees can utilise this technology as well, because it helps them improve their performance and ultimately helps us as rugby players, which is great for the game of rugby. So I guess while I'm talking about it, sharing the material to your players and your team is really easy. Once you've uploaded the footage to the VO server, you receive an email confirming that the footage has been uploaded, and this is where the magic in VO is created, where the ball tracking technology kicks in. It takes about 4 to 6 hours for the footage to be processed, and once it's done you get an email back saying that your footage is ready to view. You simply just click onto the email and it takes you straight to the VO site where you can watch your game. And you'll see on the right hand side here you've got timestamps right the way through from the start of the game right through to the end, highlighting scrums, lineouts, kicks, tries, and anything else that you want to individually put in yourself. This is all done by VO, but you have the ability to edit and add highlights and different parts of the game yourself. So you can then send that clip off to individual players or the team in general. To do this, I share the videos via Messenger by going to the top right of your VO screen and then sending out a Messenger. And I do this on my phone, I don't even do it on my computer. From there, it gets sent out to your whole team and they can view the game and review what they need to review. So the camera and the software is really simple and easy to use, and there's lots of options for you to be able to send out the footage on social media. I found VO to be a really great coaching tool for me this season. We were able to get great footage of all of our games, which I could then analyse and set training plans according to how the game went. As I mentioned, it does have its limitations when players on the far side of the field, where you don't quite get to see the detail and set piece that you'd like to see as a rugby coach. But for general play, it's really great because you get to see how defence shapes working against attack shapes and vice versa. When you've got limited resources, VO is a great option because it's cost effective, it doesn't miss any of the play, and it's really easy to set up. So I recommend you give it a go.